All right, guys. Welcome everyone to the On the House podcast, connecting you with the voices shaping the digital world, where we deep dive into the minds of today's most influential creators and entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Max, alongside my co-host, Maddie. Thrilled to have you join us for an exciting episode. Thanks for being here. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Michael's POC. She doesn't know what that is, but we'll get into that. um, which it actually it means proof of clout. This is
Okay.
this
Okay,
is,
cool.
that's something we're getting into today.
Sounds good. On
Yeah,
the house,
exactly.
on the brand. This
Exactly.
makes sense.
Exactly on brand with that. Michael's a sensational TikTok star, creator across multiple platforms. He's a dancer, choreographer, and an inspiration to millions. He's also known as Just Maiko. Is that how you say it?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, cool. So sit back, relax, while we hopefully have an engaging, inspiring, and maybe spicy conversation.
Oh,
Spicy.
Let's get started.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited to be on here, especially as is this the first?
This is the pilot.
Number
This is
This is
one.
number
Alright,
one.
What's up, y'all?
It's number one,
in
which is
here.
why I was reading that.
Come on, pilot for OTH. I like it. I like it.
You know, I don't have it memorized yet. We got a lot going on here. First off, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Life is amazing. Always has ups and downs, but feeling blessed.
Nice. Nice. All right. Before we get into all the other stuff, I think some of the audience, tell us a little bit about like a snapshot of your career, where you started, how long ago, and how you got to where you're at.
Okay, yeah. So I'm currently 24 years old. So I started in 2015 on social media, as like one of the first social media dancers. And what got me into it was I was a very big YouTube watcher when I was like a kid and stuff. So like watching people like Ryan Higa or Kev Jumbo or PewDiePie, all these OG YouTubers.
PewDiePie, that one.
Yeah.
That one. The other two, I'm like, oh, PewDiePie here.
But these were all just guys that loved doing what they did on camera, and they were making a career from what I saw out of it, and it felt like the new thing. And I felt like I've always been very much entrepreneur minded because like my family, like my parents, and I knew like I didn't really want to do like a 9 to 5 thing, I saw them do that, and in 2015 I was like, all right, like I know I want to do this. What can I do? What's the thing that makes me special? And at the time I was dancing for like about 3 to 4 years, and I just started becoming slightly like professional, doing like music videos and all the other gigs and stuff. And yeah, I started on social media, kind of just posting my own dances. And fast forward 4 years later, I had a decent amount of following, like a couple 100,000 at the time. And then TikTok popped off in 2019, and that was what shot everything up. One of my
Caught that wave.
friends, yeah, one of my friends was on TikTok, and like I was on it. It was Musically before it actually was anything. And one day they were just posting stuff on there, like making a dedicated video for it. And I was like, oh, what do you like? What is this? Like, what are y'all doing? Because I used to just repost stuff on it. And they're like, oh, it's kind of like low key popping again. I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay, let me try this out. So the first week I'm on it, first videos I post, they blow up, and I get my first 1 million followers in that week. In my
In a week?
whole career. Yeah, in a week. So I think I was like 400,000 or 500,000 already.
Wow.
So I gained like 500,000 in that 1 week, and then after I hit that 1 million, it was like, oh, this is it. Like I have to go all in. So like I stopped literally everything. I was doing YouTube, Instagram, everything. I stopped everything just to do TikTok full in,
Wow.
and every week I was gaining like a new 1 million followers.
Damn.
And then like fast forward like 3-4 months, whole life like flipped upside down. Moved to LA, my income like 1,000x. Like I don't even know how. Like so I was like, yeah, I was just like taking advantage of all the opportunities I was like heading my way. And like by the time it was like 6 months in like 2020, that's when the COVID situation happened,
Mhm.
and I was like at 20-30 million by then.
Did you
And
see
then
another
just-
big spike during COVID because everyone was?
I mean,
stuck
that
on their
was the
phones?
spike. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that was
Mhm.
absolutely like I kind of started like right before it happened. So of course, like a lot of negative stuff happened because of COVID, but a lot of
Mhm.
blessings also happened because of it too.
Sure.
So yeah, that was kind of the takeoff. And
Damn.
then fast forward a couple years later, started finding like I feel like I've always been able to adapt. So I feel like now I'm focusing on building my own businesses, my own brands, expanding, getting into like long form again, TikTok shop,
Mhm.
building my own dance academy, building some products, these are all stuff I haven't really even told people yet
Oh,
either. So it's
shit,
like,
that's what we're hoping to get here.
yeah.
Tell us
Yeah,
more. Tell
so
us
it's
more.
pretty exciting.
Fun.
Yeah, so now, so talking about the legacy stuff. So like, you know, with
Mhm.
TikTok, I felt like it was fun to be able to like entertain people like when they're, you know, because I was like, I would say specifically 2020, I ran 2020. Like I can confidently say I did.
Mhm.
Because like a lot of people always like, oh, I remember watching you this year, and you know, because I was just like the run, everything was crazy, and I felt like it was cool being able to know that like I was able to, you know, entertain people while they were at home, stuck at home, or you know, inspiring others or this and that. But I think now my legacy is really like I want to build something special where I want to inspire people to dance more, and I want to build the whole dance community up as a whole because I feel like the whole um, kind of sector of entertainment in dancing is still undervalued a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm bridging what like the social media dance world is and the real dance world and trying to become the middleman essentially to really build new opportunities and
What kind of opportunities are we talking about? Brand deals,
so
live events?
I wanna host the largest dance events in the world. I wanna host the largest YouTube specific like content, like kind of combining traditional media but like also new school media, you know, of like all the social medias and stuff, and kind of almost being like a Mr. Beast of dance. That's like probably the best way to put it.
Nice.
So I'm
A
starting off with
PewDiePie
like
dance.
something like that. So yeah, so I'm doing a lot of that right now, working with I'm building my team to build my academy, you know, so I'm trying to build like a Netflix of dance tutorials, and then working with labels to build new opportunities that dancers won't typically have. And then from there, the funding I get from that, I'm gonna start doing competitions for dancers, and then just kind of building a whole empire.
Mhm.
And then
Nice.
yeah, so I already started, you know, building the team slowly. I just got a warehouse this month actually.
Nice.
In LA.
Yeah, well, last month technically, but I'm opening it up like grand opening this month in August, and yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm partnered with Red Bull as well.
It's getting so
I'm
real
like,
with that then.
yeah, no, it's crazy. There's a lot of pieces that I'm like, I've been working behind the scenes. So now that things are finally coming to fruition, I'm like, all right, let's start the announcements, let's start getting things going, you know. So it's pretty cool.
How did you first hear about OTH?
It was from this man over here. You guys can't see him, but it's Silver.
Mhm.
Me and him went way back in like what 2015, 2014.
Wow.
We worked together on a project in Miami, and I was a dancer, or I was a choreographer for one of the projects he had, and we just kind of stayed connected throughout the years. But he told me about this thing, and I immediately knew like, oh, this makes complete sense. Like this is gonna
Mhm.
do well, regardless.
So
Like,
you've been
this
on it
is-
since the
yeah,
day
yeah,
one.
since the beginning. So I kind of knew from the get go, like, oh, this is something that's gonna really do well. I fully believed in it, and yeah, it's been.
And now we're here
it's
with a
been taking
podcast.
off. Yeah, it's crazy.
Pilot podcast.
There you go,
It's
there you
going
go.
places. Everybody, people are hearing about it. Nice. I
Yep.
guess.
Well, it seems like you're always here for the first of things, but since you have been here from the beginning, how many swipes and how much do you think you've actually been swiping with OTH over the years?
Oh, I mean, I use it pretty often, honestly. I'd say like
Give us a number. What do you think? How much
Like-
money you think you've swiped for? And
how much money?
yeah, total.
Maybe like 5K at least already.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I think
a little more?
I
Really?
think,
I
yeah,
don't
I think
know.
so. I think
I
think
do.
there's
I
quite a
mean, the
bit.
best things I could say I use OTH for though are like the family dinners or the friend dinners. You
Mhm.
know, like I think it's great being able to share like great experiences with other people, and then also because it's on OTH, I know it's like, it's high end. It's like the restaurants are like vetted for already.
Yep.
So I know it's not like a rinky dinky, like, you know, like I don't know what this establishment is. It's always like a surprise every time I go to a new spot, and I'm like, this is my favorite restaurant in Miami, and then I go to a new one, I'm like, this is my favorite restaurant.
Nice.
But
I
no,
love
it's really really dope. And
Have you been using it out in LA? Because we got a lot of growth going over there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Miami is just killing it. LA has some really good spots
Mhm.
now, and it's slowly getting bigger and bigger. But I mean, Miami is like
That's our
that's
home.
been
It's our home base.
Yeah, it's crazy how many spots are here. It's amazing.
Yeah. Since you've been on it a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of evolved. You're one of the first swipers,
Mm-hmm.
and we're now in. We've got other
Mhm.
places launching. What do you think about how it was when it came out? You've swiped recently. Have you seen that evolution of that tech? Like, tell us about the product. How do you?
Yeah, I mean,
how
I
do you
feel
about
like
it?
from the get go, OTH, I mean, the tech was already there. Like, I don't feel like it's changed too much from what I've seen. It just kind of worked. I feel like it's a little bit more structured now in terms of like two stories and like making sure stuff. But no, the tech's really good. It's very straightforward. I think once you set up the process, because the beginning is a little like complicated for I guess like typical person because you have to like go through your Apple settings or whatever. But once you set everything up, it's super easy. Like it's super duper easy. I think it's like, I mean it's very straightforward. Like you just post about the place. You know you use simple videos or voiceovers, whatever you really want, and then you validate it through the app. It just checks.
How do you
if
feel about that
tagged.
card?
Oh, it's nice. It's really really nice. It's heavy. It's a heavy thick card too.
Heavier
Very
than the
good.
Amex, heavier than
Yeah.
the Black Card.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that there's been a lot of times where like honestly I don't even have the card on me and I can
Mhm.
still use the card even if it's just on my phone.
Yep.
And it still works. So I think that's really cool as well. So it's like very flexible and
Good. And
yeah,
so
no
so no
stress.
complaints. It's always been easy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's
Good.
really cool. And I feel like all the restaurants are super kind too when they're like, "Oh, you're an OTH." Like they give you like extra like, they take care of you. So I think it's
Yeah.
really cool that you're really taken care of in all the aspects and yeah, just good food. I tip them a great tip, and then I'll leave it there.
There you go.
Nice.
Well, I know that in one of your videos earlier this year, and we actually were just discussing it a little bit, you're mentioning that you wanted to travel more. Have you had a chance to travel more? Have you gone
Yeah.
around to it? Where has your favorite place been?
Yeah, so I've been traveling like once a month this year.
Oh, wow.
So like I started in Qatar, then I went to Poland, Korea.
This is all work.
Yeah, all
None
work.
of this is for fun.
I mean, it's
Well,
fun.
fun
I mean,
at
my
work,
whole,
but,
my
like,
career is
just-
fun,
Yeah,
so
fair
I
enough.
think it's
But
it's
none of this is
blend.
holidays. This is every single one of these is work trip.
Pretty much, yeah. So I would say those three, Florida, back and forth, Vegas, I'm going to, and I'm also going to Paris in a couple of months as well. Yeah, for the first time, so I'm really excited about that.
What were you doing in Qatar?
Qatar was for a business convention,
Okay.
so I went there for like a week. Poland was for a dance event, World of Dancing. Me and my friend were booked out there, so I went with her. And then Korea was like a shot in the dark, and that was like I didn't have work planned. And then when we got out there, that's when I started working with all the K-pop groups. And then what else? Oh, I just went to Beijing. I just went to
What?
Beijing. Yeah,
It's your
and
first time?
that was my first time there as well, and I was flown out there to teach some dance classes.
Nice.
So it's
That's
really cool.
Incredible.
5-day
Nice.
trip in and out. I did a performance. It was my first time getting flown out to teach as well. So that was really really cool. So like
Is that the first time you've taught or just been flown out to teach?
flown out to teach.
Okay,
Yeah,
but you do a bunch of teaching
Yeah, I
here.
used to teach professionally. I mean, I technically still do, but it's not my main thing anymore. But yeah, I used to do it like weekly. There was a Millennium out here, Miami, years ago before it shut down, and I was one of like the faculty teachers. So that was like my main job for a while.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, when you were in Korea, did you load up on the Korean skincare?
I actually did not. I actually had the Korean skincare before, but then I amped it up like crazy afterwards. 'Cause,
Okay.
like TikTok and like
Yeah.
everything, the whole.
Well, you're
blow
on
of-
there and you got to follow. You're being fed all that.
Yeah,
all
I'm
that
like,
skincare
"Dude, I
content.
want Korean glass skin. Like, hold on, let me get myself together.
Mhm.
So, yeah, definitely after working with them and seeing like how freaking porcelain they look in
Yep.
person, I'm like, okay, I look ugly. I need to get myself together. So I actually started doing a lot of like self care
Mm.
afterwards and like fitness and all that stuff. I was like, if I'm gonna be working with these people a lot more, I can't look the way I'm looking. So I gotta get
Gotta
myself
up my
together.
Korean
No,
face game.
yeah, no, I mean it was everything. So yeah, I mean this year has been a lot of focus on like my fitness, my overall health, because I want to have like a healthier lifestyle. Because I feel like I kind of let myself go like a couple years ago, and then I was like, yeah, I never want to go back there again. I want to look like a freaking Bruce Lee, chatted up, shredded dude when I'm in my 40s or 50s.
Mm.
So
Now's the
health
time to
is
do it.
wealth. So yeah.
Nice. What's the hardest personal challenge you faced in those years, and how did you overcome it?
I would say the hardest challenge was um knowing what my priorities were and being consistent in all of it. I think someone that I've really looked up to for a long time, and more recently now too, that stuck out was Ryan Reynolds, because I feel like he's such a good businessman, family man, dad. You know, all of these different things. Um, Being able to do it all at once. You know, juggling two things is a little bit easier than juggling five things. You know, so I think that being mindful of like knowing what time you invest in things versus like, you know, things that you shouldn't really focus on. So for me,
Prioritizing. It's
yeah,
been the
so for
hardest.
me, like, you know, when I was focusing on my career, it was a lot about just that, but my mental health was out the window, my relationship with my family, or my relationship in general with my girlfriend, or, you know, all of these things I would just kind of put in the back burner, and I would never actually focus on those things. So I felt like that was a lot of that was damaged because I was only focusing on one thing. Like, oh, if I have money and I have this, I'm successful, I'm happy. But it's not really that, you know?
It's the Jim Carrey thing, right? I wish you got all of it, so you realize it's not what you need.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that was the biggest challenge I had. And the way I fixed that was really just sitting back and like looking at like, okay, maybe I'm not going to be as successful as if I put 100% into this, but maybe overall if I, you know, because you can make time for anything no matter what. It's just it's important to you.
Yeah.
But always everyone's like, "Oh, you never have time. I don't have time for this." It's just cuz they don't make it important. So I feel like for me, like, you have
Ruining
to
some
really...
relationships right now here in Miami. That statement.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really important, and like I think that yeah, success means, you know, success means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but for me, it's like balance of your health, your fitness, or health, fitness, mental health, your relationship with your family, relationships in general, your finances. All of these things are like super important. And I think you have to remember like what matters, you know. And I think it was hard for me to weigh it out back then, but now it's like, oh,
That was better.
yeah, now it's way better.
I do have another question. Is there any fear that nobody knows about that you have?
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's always going to be the fear of failing. Like, you know, an idea can always be so good in your head, but I think until it's the proof of concept is proven, like itself, even if there are like so many different indicators of like, oh, this is going to do well, this is going to do well. I think the fear of like not executing or being up to the standards of what I expect in my head, that's always going to be scary because, yeah, I mean, you're judged 24/7, and I think that I want to make sure that I'm doing the right things to make sure I'm successful and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm starting like 2 or 3 different businesses, and like my goal is like, you know, like in my head when I talk to other people, they're like, yeah, this is gonna do great, this is gonna do great. It always is like, okay, now I have to meet that expectation of what I'm setting in my head now, and that's always scary, you know, because I always want to strive for being the best, and of course, financial things go into it of like, oh, if I'm investing my time and I'm investing a couple $100,000, like, you know, failing is gonna suck, you know.
Yeah. So you still
that's...
fear it, even though you've gotten through all these successes.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people think like, oh, if you make it, then like you're chilling. But like, I think the money situation is always gonna be a battle.
The more you make it, the less you're chilling.
Yeah, the more I'm making, now I'm like investing more, and now I'm like, oh, I have to make this amount of money, or else
I can't
I'm
pay
gonna
that.
be way worse. Yeah.
So name some people either in your personal life or in your career that have been inspiring you.
Ooh. I mean, the people that I've named so far, like the people that I'd get starstruck by, are definitely the people that inspire me. I'd say Ryan Reynolds right now has been the biggest one though.
That one's
very
coming
recently. Yeah, just because like mainly because of
how did that come up? Is because his business got sold recently and he became a
not even that. It's
or...
honestly because of Blake Riley's speech about him being such a good husband.
Okay.
That's honestly the biggest thing, because like he's such a successful dude, but his personal life is so well handled, And I feel like a lot of people don't have that. That's something that I
That's what
really
you aspire
aspire
to.
for. Yeah. Which is really interesting because, like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's like that shows like where I guess my shift in mindset has been in the last few years. But yeah, I really look up to that because it's like, how do you do all that? That's crazy, you know? So, um, that definitely goes to shows like there's no excuses. If Ryan Reynolds can do it and he's doing all this stuff, that there has to be a way I can figure out my life. So
Sort
Mhm.
out your personal.
yeah, exactly. So Annalise,
then-
yeah, so she's my partner and she's been we've been in each other's lives since 2012.
Wow.
And yeah, they've been, when I say like rock, like they've been like, yeah, like such a major support group in everything I've done. And I think that they're the only people I think in my life that has stayed since the kind of like the beginning, you know.
Mm.
And they've been able to kind of steer me in the right direction in terms of like who's good, who's bad, you know, kind of like vibe check. They're very good with that stuff. But they're also on social media. They do that stuff too. And
They all do. They have their own like.
dance brand, everything, yeah. But yeah, we were all in the dance crew together and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
it was cool to see their growth alongside with me and stuff. And it's crazy. I don't know. It's really really wild because I used to always be very envious of like um seeing other people like grow up with their friends because like a lot of my time like in my elementary, middle school, high school, like I would like be cool with the people there and then I like kind of never talk to them again after that
Mhm.
year, like that, you know,
Yeah.
that time. And I
Happens
feel
to a
like
lot of
this
people.
was, yeah, and this was the group that like stayed throughout, yeah, basically my more than half of my life already. So it's crazy.
All right, let's talk about the industry a little bit now.
Okay.
So specifically like social media industry, creator industry. Since you've been in it for a while, like how have you seen it significantly change since you've been in it, and what do you see coming up for creators? Like, how do you see the industry changing for creators in the next couple of years? I mean,
Good question.
yeah.
I would say that it's changed dramatically, mainly because everyone wants to be one now.
Yep.
The way that brand deals have shifted, the way that brands are looking at things. Back then, and this is actually why I'm shifting my focus to like building my own brands, because brand deals back then were like crazy. Like full disclosure, I used to make like 6-figure brand deals on TikToks, you know,
Wow.
and now it's like the ad spend has gone up, but the way that they spend their ad spend is different. Instead of spending on like 5 creators, they're spending on 5,000 creators.
Right.
You know,
Because
so
there's
that
way more
yeah.
competition.
so it's way
Everybody's in there. There's way more content.
it's way more content, it's way
being
more
split up.
competition, but it's also like yeah, the ad spend for one person is way lower because they see that following doesn't necessarily mean
Mhm.
views.
Right.
And
Yep.
that, and I guess
So they
that's
want to
more
go a
for
little
the
bit
short-
wider. right?
Exactly. So
Which we're
short
seeing
form
with
is
OTH
different.
as well. It's where our success comes from. Is kind of like get a wider audience. Don't sit there and pick 2 or 3 every month. Let's get 20, 30. Let's
Exactly.
create this like this wave of content, right?
Exactly.
And so that's you see that change. You think it keeps going to keep going that way and just get more and more
So,
diversified?
Yeah, so the biggest thing right now that I just actually hopped onto is so TikTok Shop. That's
Mhm.
gonna be, I mean it's already been massive, but it's gonna be like 10x by next year. And
Right.
that's the new wave that I'm really hopping on now. So like I'm building my own TikTok Shop live.
What are you trying
Like
to
a
sell?
live
Is that
show.
just third-party affiliate
Yeah,
stuff?
essentially.
Think products that you like. You think that's like going to be a massive.
I mean it already has. Like
Mhm.
there's like moms, like people with no followings making like
Mhm.
100K off of video.
A year or
No, off of video.
off of one video
Mhm.
Yeah.
because they put something, they talked
They're
about
just
it,
like,
and it just went
I
viral.
did this because you know
Mhm.
my kids make me tired, and I took this, and I have so much energy. Boom,
Yeah.
50,000 freaking
Yeah, because
commission.
the
I'm
algorithm's
like,
pushing it out. It's getting viral. And
yeah,
then,
and it's crazy because like I think the big, and that's what's wild because Amazon was trying to do this, and I think
Mhm.
I don't know if they're still trying to do this, but they were doing like a live section where creators would go live on Amazon, and you know they'd sell live,
Oh, wow.
but they didn't have the foot traffic for that.
yeah,
In
they
terms
didn't
of
have
like,
the audience to push it to.
yeah, exactly.
Right?
'Cause
Like even if you have
people-
no followers on TikTok, TikTok's is like, oh, we're selling this thing, push it out to all people
Yeah.
that aren't following this person.
Because Amazon isn't a content platform; it's
Right.
a selling platform. But now
Right.
but TikTok already has that side of things, so
The
now
audience.
they're already just pushing that. And since creators are making money from it, they're growing. And the thing is that we're behind by like years because in
Mhm.
Asia, this has been going on.
Mhm.
So like when I found out about the numbers that these shows are making, all this stuff, I'm like, oh, this is I need to hop on this now, you know? So
Damn.
that's why another thing. So I'm working directly
So what
with
can we
TikTok.
sell right now on this podcast that we'll
Oh,
put on our
man.
TikTok shop and
Uh,
it would just change our whole business model.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's crazy because it's all trend based too. Like there's like these tools that like these creators are using now. They're like, oh, this is going viral as a product. Let me push this, and then now it's like it's blowing up.
Jump on the
Ex-
ones that are viral. So like if
Exactly.
like a certain hairbrush is going viral or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it might be, then
Yeah, every week is a different product. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. But
is
I
it all
think
drop
that-
shipping? How do you or they sort it out? They
so
sort
yeah,
the-
so pretty much like if let's say you're the company and you're selling this
This thing.
viral frame.
Yeah.
Um,
This one right here that
Yeah.
says
all of
OTH
us in this
podcast
room
on it.
could sell this and get a 10 or 15 or 20% commission, but you would be responsible for all the shipping. So it is
Okay.
drop shipping
Mhm.
essentially.
So basically, you sign up to sell this thing, and you link it to them, and they do with all of it. All
Yep.
you're doing is creating the content and putting it out there.
Yep. That's
And if
it.
yours went viral because your content was better, then you make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Someone else's of the 50,000 people that like probably signed up to make content for them, it's whoever makes the best content that or the most conversion,
Yeah,
they get to like ride the wave.
exactly.
And
that's
so you're
why,
focusing hard on like building yours out, or what does that
So-
mean? Does that mean
so
you just
I'm
pick
working with
products?
a production company, so we're building a whole show now on it.
Oh,
so my
shit.
warehouse I'm building a whole set, and I have like a 6 to 8 man crew that basically we're gonna have like a 3 camera. It's okay. So think of infomercials on TV.
Yeah, you're gonna do the
old-
same thing on TikTok.
Is that on TikTok Shop?
You're just gonna
on
use
live
your
now.
TikToks. Are you gonna like split it up? Or are you gonna put it in
So
between? Like,
so I made a separate TikTok account now. One of my old accounts that had like 12 million followers.
Oh,
I
nothing.
changed that
Yeah,
to
no,
I
just-
changed that to the shop now.
just
So-
lying around. We just had an account laying around
'Cause
with
it
12
was-
million followers.
It was
into
it
a
was
shop.
my it was my family channel.
Okay.
But I stopped focusing as much on that platform, TikTok for it. So I was like, might as well use it. Like it's just
Yeah.
sitting there. So yeah, I changed that to that, and then now my live shows are gonna be on TikTok live stream, and that's gonna be the next thing I'm pushing, and that's also why I'm starting the other my own brands
Mhm.
because I'm gonna be able to promote my own brands,
Yep.
make more
Like
commission off
your
of
own
that.
products.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
Get a little spicy. So I'm sure you receive thousands of DMs a day. Can you show us any weird ones?
Or
I
tell
actually
us about
don't
Or
them.
get
tell
weird
us.
ones. I actually
You
don't get
really?
Yeah, I mean, mine is pretty calm.
They keep
Pretty
it
nice.
PG in there?
Yeah, I mean, I just get a lot of like random fans saying like hey or hi, but
Oh.
I don't respond to DMs honestly.
Yeah.
I
Your
You
bot
haven't
cam.
gotten like crazy offers or anything like that?
no.
No?
Mine's been pretty calm. I have a pretty PG.
You have any
brand,
stalkers?
so-
Oh
I had one.
You had one.
Yeah, one time I went to a dance studio and
my
this guy
God.
walked up and he was like, "Hey, like you're my best friend, right?" And he had like a picture of me, and my friend on his phone. And I was like, "Yeah, we've been Snapchatting." I'm like, "I don't use Snapchat," so it was like a really creepy thing because he felt like he genuinely looked like he was hurt by it. I was like, "Oh my god, this is kind of crazy." Like it was
that's
like,
terrifying.
So
like a
that's the
shooter
craziest thing
kind
a
of
fan
vibe?
has done to get your attention.
yeah, I don't know. It was like a little delusional, it was scary, like that kind of like thing. So that was scary because yeah, I was like, how did you know I was teaching here? How did you know like all this stuff? He was DMing the studio and telling the owner like, yeah, we're best friends and this and that and all this stuff. It was crazy.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a little creepy. This was like a while ago, so
All right.
yeah, that
So
wasn't fun.
So that wasn't fun.
I was like,
Okay,
am I gonna die today?
Yeah, no.
Um,
Automatic restraining order.
Yeah.
any ridiculous rumors about yourself that you've heard?
Damn, guys, I'm sorry. This is boring. I don't have any either. Gosh darn it.
You're,
Rumors?
you're chilling. You don't have
No.
fans stirring up any messes.
No. I swear I'm on the PG side of social media. I
That's
don't-
good.
Yeah.
We
I
need
mean,
that. We need more
yeah,
of
I
that.
gotta have my sense of
Mm-hmm.
sanity and calmness. So yeah. But yeah, I don't think any rumors, no.
Okay. Okay, we already went over your first viral video, which we were saying that was on TikTok. Was that one?
My first ever viral video was in 2016.
Okay.
It was there's this dance called tutting where you make shapes with your hands and stuff. Right? So I was
You want to
doing
show us how to do
something-
that?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of. I think it was this one. It was boom, ta 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 ta. So it was to this like cute little song, and I taught a tutorial on YouTube, right?
You're
I
gonna-
Yeah.
I was actually doing it in my head. I'm like, I'm
So,
gonna be
I
doing that
taught this
later.
like 30-minute YouTube tutorial. Didn't really have any followers, but it blew up on Musically. Everyone did it, and like when I say ever, it was like the biggest trend, and it gained me like a couple hundred, like maybe 250,000 on every platform.
Wow.
So Instagram, Musically.
Was it the first like
YouTube. It was the first
video you did of that style?
It was the first. Yeah,
Okay, and that
I
was
did a
it.
couple. Yeah, I did a couple more afterwards. You know, kind of tried to ride off the trend, but
Mm-hmm.
that was one that blew up like crazy. And it wasn't. I was just experimenting. I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, let me just try this out. Let me try this out. You know. So
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out like what things like kind of stuck with me, and that worked. And I was like, whoa, this can work. And that's what really like, gave me the reassurance. I was like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. You know.
Were you ever on Vine?
No, actually.
Really? You missed the Vine
It
wave?
was, I missed the Vine, like, when I tell you crazy, I downloaded Vine the first day it came out,
Okay.
and I was like, this is whack. I deleted it.
no.
And then months later, I'm like, no, I'm too late, and I got so
Uh-huh.
sad, and I was like, let me just watch, Vine compilations on Instagram or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
And then once TikTok happened, I was like, this is the next Vine. I
It-
cannot miss it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, and that's why I was so, like,
Early on the TikTok because you missed the line.
I was pissed. I was like, I could have been a Vine star, this and that.
Mhm.
But I think it worked out for me. I think everything,
I think so too.
6-second Vine dance videos probably wasn't gonna be,
You could do like this and that's it.
yeah. So it kind of worked out. So yeah.
So if there was a day and they're like, you either have to go with YouTube or TikTok.
YouTube.
Oh, really?
You give up your TikTok?
Really?
Like you got to give up
Like
one. Which one you giving up?
completely give it up.
It's so hard,
Uh-huh.
actually. But I'm still gonna say
You answered
YouTube.
real fast.
I'm gonna say
That was
YouTube
his gut
still.
feeling.
Yeah.
Even though you got all this TikTok shop
I
plans
know.
going.
Yeah, I know. I think it's mainly because of the long form side of things
Mhm.
that
It's
I
more
can
what you
still
would-
rely on.
Yeah, and you enjoy making that content.
Yeah, I think it's because the biggest thing that I feel is gonna separate people in the future, and it's separating people now, is the sense of community. And the longer that people watch you, the more that they engage with you. You know, that's why podcasts do so strong. That's why live streamers do so well, because they're on and they're watching these people for hours.
Mhm.
You know, and I think short form has a power of virality, but it's not the same impact as long form once you have that community. So
Right.
I think if I have
So-
if I have 5
smart.
channels and I do all of them really well and I have great teams for them and I'm
Mhm.
and it's paying itself off and a little more, then I'm like, I'm chilling. I could do that for the rest of my life. I don't need to go viral and constantly get millions of views and struggle about the finance side of things, But yeah, I mean, like,
Fair.
yeah,
So you're saying you're gonna build a better connection with your audience, and that's a more stable, secure thing.
oh, absolutely. Long form is that's always gonna be king.
You know, that reminds me of Yes Theory. Do you know who they are on YouTube?
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
dope.
they started on YouTube and they don't need any other platform really. They have a
Mhm.
massive community around the world solely from YouTube.
I mean, Mr.
Yeah,
Beast has 300 million followers now.
Yeah, it's
That's
Yeah, with the yesterday
wild.
guys, they did that jump out of the helicopter, Will Smith.
that-
That
yeah.
was,
it didn't sound
It's
funny.
crazy. It's crazy.
I know them from LA actually.
Yeah.
That's tight. Yeah, so
they're
that's-
solid dudes.
I think that's why. I mean, obviously, like I blew up on TikTok, but I think YouTube just has it's always been where I've wanted to go.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, thank God I don't have to choose. I can do both.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
Nice. Okay. So thoughts on this is gonna be a 2-part question, but like thoughts on OnlyFans and separately thoughts on pay-per-view type of content.
I mean,
So
I think OnlyFans is stuck on the thing it's known for.
Mhm.
So I mean, I think they've already done that to their brand, so it's kind of hard to pivot. 'Cause
Right.
the last time I've heard they're trying to, but
yeah, they're trying to get more other like pay-per-view content,
yeah,
right?
it's a
Is
little
that something?
hard
Is that
to-
something you'd be interested in? Is it like a content?
create
create content where people have to pay to get
That's
more
what
of
my
it?
academy is.
Okay.
So
So you're creating your own platform for that.
Exactly. It's a
Like out of the
monthly-
box, you create your own thing, monthly subscription
Mhm.
plus paid for extra content.
Exactly.
Do you think that's a direction that a lot of creators are going to go, or the
if
industry
they
in general?
have something worthy to offer, yeah, I can see
Okay.
it for sure. I think it's just how much they build that out. Because if too many people offer it, it's gonna be hard to then But if you have a true community, you have something that's really valuable for someone that they'll want. I think it's a genius idea for sure. Because then you don't have to rely and stress about brand deals and all that stuff.
Do you think it's accessible to build your own thing for that, all like for most people, or do you think the bar for that is Because obviously you're building your own platform for people to.
I mean, so when I use a service. I use like a platform. I didn't build it from
Sure.
scratch.
Okay.
But I have like 2 companies I'm working with. One is they're building like a lower tier version for creators to do that stuff, where it's a lot cheaper. And then there's like the Kajabis. I'm using Uscreen specifically. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's a little more premium. So, I think it's definitely
Pretty
valuable though. It's
yeah.
pretty because you don't need a lot of people to do well, which is cool. As long as you have a strong community and you're dedicated to it, you can make good money with 1,000 people.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
Yeah, like you said, if you're providing real value, then okay. So that's something you're already working on.
Yeah. I mean, it's already out. Like my academy's already out, but I took like a 2-month hiatus because I had to build the team, get the warehouse set up, and then like actually build a serious thing. Because I was like, it started off with something like as an idea, and I did it, and then after I realized how big it could be, I realized how much more of a team I needed for it, and I started like going in the trenches of like how I could really build this out. So that's been the biggest hurdle that I've been overcoming right now. So yeah.
Nice. All right. What has been the highest point in your career where you felt like, all right, I'm done. I hit a point. I've really made it. I'm good. Like I'm good for the rest. Like if everything else, what was that moment? Was there a moment in the last couple years where you were just on cloud 9 and you were like, damn, this is like
cloud 9? I could say cloud 9. I don't think I've ever felt like I made it because I always wanted more, which was like kind of a bad thing because like I was never appreciating what I had. But I was definitely on a cloud 9 because at a point of time, I was like, if I don't hit 100,000 likes in 10 minutes or an hour or something, and I'm like, oh, it's a flop. It was that bad. Like my views were to the point where the biggest video I ever had was 250 million views.
So that moment when you saw
it wasn't that moment, it was the moments afterwards. Because every other post, like my consistent views were like 30 to 50 million. So it was
and
to
you were
another
like,
level.
I'm on the next
so
step.
I was always
when
like,
was this?
This was in 2020.
Okay.
So this was the peak.
That
of
year
like,
when you said I own 2020.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about here. Like
no,
that's when you were
absolutely.
like, I fucking.
Yeah, because
next
literally,
level.
if I didn't have, I would look at it as I think 1,000 likes per minute.
Wow.
So by 10 minutes, if it wasn't at 10,000 or 20,000 likes, I was like, oh, like that's how I.
Would you like delete shit?
No,
Would you be like, oh no? Because everybody knows
like,
that feeling.
Sometimes.
Everybody's got that, right?
Yes.
Everybody's got that thing when they post that video and they're
Sometimes.
like,
Now it's different. Now I'm just like, if it does well, it doesn't. You know, like it was such a different ball game back then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was very much so wired to that algorithm. It was crazy. Like it was, yeah.
But was that a standard that you set for yourself, or was it a comparison to others?
For myself.
Really?
Yeah. But it was like also like, yeah, so the reason why I felt bad now, or I feel bad now because like I didn't appreciate it, those at times I was getting like 200 to 300, 400,000 likes per post, but my peers were getting like 1 million. So I was like, I need more.
By comparison, you were
so
like,
the comparison was always like the killer of like.
And when you get to them, then you compare to the next person.
Yeah, it was never stop. I was never stopping. So I think that was also the point in time where I was like, I didn't know where my goals were. I was just like, I want to be the biggest thing in the world, and I still want that, but I have my priorities a little bit better in check now. Yeah, it's more of the long game. I was playing the short game back then. I was just like, it was a crazy time.
Yeah, it's like instant gratitude or instant results that you want to see, but now it takes time for it to truly grow into that empire. Okay, well, I do have another question. What is your favorite style of dance? And then also, can you show us? I'm trying to learn, so I need to,
I mean, hip hop is where I started.
Yeah.
And that's just my main thing. I like fusion. I mean, it's still hip hop fused with like other styles. I think dance is continuously evolving.
Yeah.
More styles are growing, and you know, the more I learn, yeah, it's just kind of it's dope. I think my goal is like a contemporary hip hop fusion, but I'm very much a hip hop.
Yeah.
Through and through. But I've like been seeing like a lot of like.
What about this?
Tutting. Oh yeah, I mean animation, popping, waving, like
it's all part of
that
hip hop for you.
Yeah, it's still like it's
you
like
tut to electronic music.
Not really. No, I can shuffle. I've done shuffling before, but like, you know, that's not my
It's not your thing.
thing. So, yeah, I think my goal though right now for the next like year, I want to work on like crumping, which is like
Mhm.
very hard hitting stuff. And then I want to work on like my flexibility and like gymnastic skills. So I want to like do like cool like almost like b-boy tricks where like they do
Mhm.
like kind of mind bending moves that like confuse you
Yeah.
and they're like very flexible. I want to do that, incorporate it with myself. I think that'd be killer. So I'm working on that slowly but surely.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you train yourself or do you go to other people to train with?
When it comes to my dancing, it's a lot by myself. But if I train with others, it's like just sessioning. So like freestyling together.
Mhm.
I'll sometimes take classes. I know I need to just do that more. But if I actually start training, it'll probably be like one-on-one lessons with like people that are just like really good at what they got, and then I can like pick their brain.
Yeah.
So I can move faster. Cause like classes is a little just like you learn in a group setting, but I feel like I could learn a lot quicker if I like pick specific things off of someone's brain.
Are you trying to get into the acting space?
I
Are
think
you
it'd be
going a bunch of
nice. I
stuff?
mean, I did my cameo, and that was cool.
Where was that?
Spider-Man?
No way.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh,
That was a cool
shit.
one because I got an email from the director, and I was like, because basically TikTok and Spider-Man had a collaboration, and so what TikTok did for their collaboration was have us featured TikToker on there in the movie. So, in the scene where you guys watched the movie,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
yeah, okay, so, in the scene where they were walking into the high school, where there was like a big crowd and everyone was chanting from,
Yep.
I was the one in the middle with the beanie and glasses, and I was saying like, you can't really hear it because they moved it away from the part of me being on screen. But my line was, "Hey Spidey, let's hit a TikTok together."
No way.
I need to rewatch it.
So it
No
was
way.
a crazy. I look completely different too.
Were you
But
actually filming it with what's his face?
Yeah.
Tom Holland?
It was
So
all
cool.
of them. I mean, our scenes were a little bit disconnected, but it was all shot at the same time. But like our characters didn't interact, obviously.
Okay. Did you interact with
Um,
him separately?
No, I didn't get to because this was the time during COVID.
Oh,
So literally,
shit.
we do the shoot.
And
And then be like, mask. Everyone wait. No
Yeah.
talking. All right, 3, 2, 1, take it off. And the
Oh.
crazy thing, this was an insane thing because this shoot took 8 hours for one scene.
Oh
So
my-
I was like, so imagine how like fighting scenes, they take days or weeks and stuff like that. One scene of them walking into a school, 8 hours. That's how long and how big the productions are. I was like, this is insane. So yeah, so I wasn't able to sadly, talk to any of like the actors or anything
So
like that.
you want to get back into that? You're trying to
I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be really
Are you going to
interesting.
make an actual like are you going out castings? Are you trying to
No.
No?
It's not my focus
just like
at
something-
this very second. Like I would want to see that even artistry, but like that's not like my goal. I think it's more of like side quest once I complete my main quest. So that's kind of like where I see it.
okay, that's side quest. Be
Yeah,
an actor.
Yeah, exactly.
Get up there with them. Okay, other side quest. Kids?
Kids. Ooh,
Is
I
that a
would
side
say
quest?
no. I would say like at this very I'm 24. I feel like kids would make sense like at the 28 to 32 range.
Yeah, he's so young.
Yeah, I'm
He's
still
so young.
and I want to be selfish
So,
for myself.
for
Yeah,
I
now-
want
build
to
it.
travel. I want to like know where I want to live. I want to have my shit together.
Yeah.
and all that stuff first.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say 28 earliest, but most likely like 29, 30 around there.
Where do you land on woke culture? Where do you land on pronouns with your kids, with people? Where do you land on that stuff? What's your take?
I think my take on those is like, I think it's kind of dumb how people have too many takes on things. I feel like if you,
Do whatever you want.
yeah,
No
I'm
take.
kind of like, if that's a take,
No, that's
I
a
guess.
take.
Because yeah, I
It's
feel
Yeah.
like
like
not my
people
fucking problem.
People care too much about other people's lives.
It's not
and I
that
think,
deep.
Yeah, I think if
don't
you
care.
want to be whoever you want to be, do that.
What-
Okay, we're gonna do rapid fire questions. It's gonna be
Alright.
either or.
Okay, this or that kind of
This
vibe?
or that.
Yeah, you can do go
Exactly.
the
All right,
first one.
cool.
Alrighty. Pineapple on pizza. Yes or no?
Ew, no. I'm
Wrong.
sorry, no. Pineapple
Wrong.
is meant to eat
I'm not gonna
cold.
put- I'm not gonna
I
wait on this.
Can't do I don't like hot fruits.
No, you could put cold.
No, but
Cold
even
pizza?
it-
No,
You-
no, hot pizza, cold pineapple.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
then-
it just doesn't work for me.
All right.
I've never
Carry
been a fan
on.
of
All
it.
right. How about the
Sorry.
one? Pick one. Never be able to dance again, or never be able to post on social media. Pretty sure I know the answer to this.
It depends. Oh, it's so hard.
Maybe I don't know. the
Never
answer.
have to dance again.
Never can dance again.
Whoa, that's
You'd
big.
rather
Mainly
That's
lose your,
because-
your ability to dance than your ability to post.
Because
You can
there's
build a
just too
community
much
on a bunch of things.
opportunity. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it just depends. Like it depends because like if I was successful and like rich and all that stuff,
Mhm.
then we never post again because I'm chilling. But my livelihood is literally on social media, so it's like you're just asking me to be just broke.
Nobody. Yeah, dancer.
Yeah.
Has to be a dancer.
Yeah, no. I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd be
so
a businessman. I'd be for sure a businessman.
Mhm. Okay, so when you're creating content, spontaneous or planned?
All planned to the T.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I feel like that's such opposite of what I see on TikTok now. Everyone is just like,
Yeah, no. I'm
Mm.
super planned.
would you rather do a solo dance or dance battle?
Solo dance?
Like in a
Meaning-
TikTok when you make a content, you rather do it on your own, you rather do it with people or like a
Oh, I'd rather do it with people. I've always done it with people. It's a lot more collaborative and fun.
okay, as far as your private life, like making your private life public, do you keep it private? You're cool with letting everybody know what's going on.
I keep it pretty private.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Whatever I need to.
Mhm.
Whatever yeah. Like I'll vlog and stuff, but anything that's like too deep, I'll never really get into anymore. Mainly just because of like the past and stuff. So yeah.
It's
Alright.
safe.
Yeah.
what's more important to you, engagement or followers?
Engagement.
Mm.
Okay. Public pranks are annoying or are they funny?
I think the innocent ones are funny. I think if you are, harming people or doing other things for entertainment and it's just making people's lives crappier, then it's not funny.
Yep.
Yeah. Very fine line. It's a pretty clear line actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join a dance challenge or create one?
Join one.
Okay. Filter, no filter
Meaning like in
In
how you
content.
talk
on content,
or on
like-
content.
like filters.
I
Should
don't
people
mind
use them or
I
not
don't
use them?
mind no filter. The TikTok
Keep it
natural filter.
natural.
The TikTok filter they use, I use that. The
Gee.
little slight one.
I mean, it's like a little
The-
bit.
the
It's like, what is it?
little
It's the
slight-
soft.
Yeah,
The
soft
glow.
soft
I
skin
like
glow.
that.
Soft glow.
I use those.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah.
what do
Those
you-
are nice.
Everybody should all good. Use them.
I don't
use
mind
them.
that unless it's completely changing your face structure and all that stuff. Then maybe it's a
Like
little
blowing
like
up your lips. And doing
yeah, I
that.
wouldn't. Yeah, that's a little different.
Do you prefer when you're consuming social media content? How much of it is memes versus serious stuff?
Like 80% memes, 20% serious,
Yeah.
10% serious maybe.
So 10% is like information you can actually learn from.
Yeah, that's like
90% of
that's
it
from
is
like
just-
news outlet guys
Yeah.
that
Or
that's
podcast
it.
clips or whatever.
I don't even. I don't actually get a lot of podcasts.
No, you
No.
don't get any clips or anything. Okay. All right. So we'll focus back on OTH a little bit.
Mhm.
For those that most people watching this probably know what it does. It's connecting those creators with those businesses. What are your experiences? What would you tell businesses that this is like how this has helped them? Tell us a little bit. Why a business should join.
I think any brick and mortar store needs to realize like social media is super powerful. And I think that when you look at the cost of it, if you do it by yourself versus if you join OTH, it's like night and day for how much it can affect your business. Like a perfect person I can say is like there's this TikToker, I'm blanking on his name right now, I don't know why. Keith Lee. He does these food reviews and he changes the lives of these restaurants because of like his reaction and his review or whatnot. So like natural social like posting, getting people to do that is really hard if you're just a customer. I'll eat at all these restaurants and I won't post about it because like there's no purpose for me. There's nothing I'm getting out of it. But if with OTH I go out and like, oh, I can post about it, talk about my experience, easy, and I get a free meal, that's great. And for them, they're not losing out really on anything because it's just one meal for them, out of hundreds that they serve and stuff. And they get so much more value out of that because it helps their name, it helps their branding because these are popular people that are going to this. It's like a validation of this is a good restaurant to eat at and stuff. So I think it's really smart, and I mean it's like a really low lift for them.
Very.
OTH kind of cuts out the process of stressing and trying to do these like deals on the side where it's just like, Yeah, I don't know. It's very very easy. It's kind of like a no brainer.
Yeah, I mean, it also, it's got the part where it makes sure that the content is validated,
Yeah.
right? And it gives them organic content all the time.
Yeah, because the creators can't even use the credit or anything until they post it
Yeah,
for
until the
sure, and
content's
it's
created.
validated. So you don't have to.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
all.
to chase the content.
Hmm.
They can get it fast. They can get multiple creators. They don't have to do the outreach, no negotiation. Everything's set up. It's all standardized.
Yeah.
And you've seen it working pretty well for you in Miami. I guess it's working.
Yeah,
in
I've never
LA
had
as
any
well.
issues, even if I didn't have the card. Again, like it's all really easy, and all the experiences I've had, like. It's all
Would you
really
say
good.
yourself that like if these merchants were to reach out for you, you'd probably ask for a lot more because it's way more work and effort?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Without OTH, like, I would have never done it, and then two,
Mhm.
if I would have gotten those outreaches, it would have been like, yeah, you have to pay me,
Mhm.
this and that, because it's not my choice. But
Right.
with this, is like.
It's just
The
such
creator's
easy
choice
use.
is just like, yeah, I want to go here with my friends. I want to do
Yeah.
this. So it's like the mutual benefit of like, both for the business and for the creator. It's very high. So yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So thanks for coming. Thanks everybody else for joining us today. Thank all the listeners for tuning in. This is the very first episode of OTH Network. We're figuring out this flow, so I appreciate you helping us out with this. Again, I want to thank Media Monsters who produced this episode for us.
Hey, let's go.
Kimberly, who's our executive producer. Maddie, obviously my co-host. Daniela, who is our assistant executive producer. And a whole bunch of other people that are helping this and setting all this stuff up.
Yep.
Yeah. And until next time, let's see where this goes.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right.